Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order of the Park and Recreation Committee. And the first order of business is to welcome our new member. So,
Thank you.
Gwen Johnson. So, I'll ask you to just briefly introduce yourself. I've given your name and just tell us why you're interested in being on the Park Commission.
So my husband and I moved to North Liberty a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago, I guess. I was telling these guys that my kids and my grandkids live here. And I became very passionate about the parks and making sure that the trails, I use the trails every day, or 5 days a week, I guess. I shouldn't say every day. I tell people I exercise every day, but it's only 5 days a week. Anyway, but I just got very passionate about, I'm very happy to be in North Liberty, and I appreciate the pool and I just take it for, I think it's a definite asset, and I wanted to volunteer to be a part of that. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank everybody else for being here tonight. We have a quorum, so we'll continue on. With the approval of the October 7th minutes, I wasn't here, so I read those. Is there anything that we need to discuss?
The only change that we'll make is I was omitted from attending or not being here.
And you ran
You
the
were
meeting.
here. Apologies. I will update and send to Shelley, but no other.
I won't tell your husband you weren't here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I
So-
would move to the minute with that change.
Yes,
We have a motion to approve the minutes with the change in the
Yes.
attendees. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Kevin. We have a second. Do we have any other comments? Any objection to unanimous consent for the minutes? They'll stand approved as amended. We'll move right along to the reports. So, Guy, take it away with the park report.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a very busy month, getting everything winterized and such. So anyway, we performed a lot of building maintenance tasks as needed this month. Working with Shive Hatter regarding the pool heater project. That's getting closer to being finished, but I'll let Shelley elaborate on that when she gets to her report. Starting to work on equipment, getting some winter equipment ready. You just never know when the snow is going to come, so we decided to better get some of that ready to go. Ball field maintenance, soccer fields and facilities, we maintain those a little bit at the beginning of the month. Both those programs are now over for the season. We began to winterize. We have winterized all the buildings up there, so all the restrooms are now closed for the season. The fountain at Liberty Center Pond is now, we sink it every year. So instead of pulling out, we sink it and winterize it that way. It's been working really great for many, many years. This just seems like an odd way of doing it, but it works really great. So
How does that work?
Yeah,
to
what does
sink
that
it?
mean?
the fountain out in the middle that throws water, we shut it off and we add weight to it and sink it
Oh.
below the surface. You'll see a buoy out there right now, so we can find it back next spring.
Oh, okay.
But it stays down low in the water where it doesn't freeze, and it's better than coming out and damaging it that way and drying out over winter.
Sure.
We used to have a lot of problems when we pull it in and out. Always something wrong with it, but since we started doing that, we haven't had any issues.
How'd you figure out to start doing that?
Well, I can't take the credit for it. I had a mechanic that worked on our mowers that was here. He's starting up a new business, and he did fountain work, and that's what he did. Since then he's retired, so we have kind of taken over and just leading on what he did. So
Interesting.
Awesome.
yeah,
These are things we learn.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I was imagining you sinking the entire
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Of course, we finished mowing for the season. We may have to go out and hit some areas that have thick leaves yet, but for the most part, turf grass is done. Tim did all of our prairie mowing this year. We always try to mow that down once a year just to kind of give it a fresh start every season. Landscape maintenance, that was a big one. We pretty much took 3/4 of our staff and it takes us about 3 weeks to get overall landscaping winterization. So like our roundabouts, our streetscapes, our building landscapings, anything that we have to do with landscaping. Like you'll notice roundabouts now are all cut down. It's just getting ready for snow. And but it started out as a week. We went up to 2 weeks, and now we're at 3 weeks trying to get through it. So with
Probably more in the future.
with the new or with the new light streetscapes here on Ranshaw Way, the tunnel is going to be heavily landscaped. It's going to add more to our duties, so we're trying to gear up for that. We've been meeting with Shive Hattery on the Centennial Park Loop Road. It's all poured and in place. They're working on the parking lot, which has pervious pavers, and they're doing some storm drain concrete work yet. We're not going to have that open for the season. We decided to keep that closed. They'll probably get it backfilled, graded around it, but there will be some spring work to be done yet. I really didn't want to clear snow off of it this season. I want to keep it no salt or sand on that because it's very fresh concrete. I want it to cure up well, or have a chance to cure before we next winter we put salt and sand on it.
Did you say you were going to do the parking lot on the same pavers as you did the front parking lot?
That's correct. There are two areas on the south side that have kind of off street or right off parking right off the road, and proposed in this current budget, this next budget, 2 shelters on the back side there to complement the parking lots. So that's the long-term plan. So let's see here. Loop Road, the Dubuque Street project. We've been reviewing plans for all the landscaping that's going to go with that. I don't know if anyone else have looked at any of the plans for the Dubuque Street projects, but it's pretty major.
And I know we ask you, but it's probably always good to review exactly what's
Yeah.
going to happen for everybody.
So the
Timeline.
pet clinic, the salon, and the chiropractor, we bought that facility. That's going to get demolished. We're working on getting some demo contractors in here. We have asbestos surveys and stuff like that done right now. But the Dubuque Street's going to be realigned. It's going to come in at a 90-degree angle rather than at an angle for safety. And then along with that, there's going to be a lot of streetscapes, parklet, right there by Naomi's Kitchen. That intersection is all going to be changed, as well as the parking lot on the south side of Penn Meadows. We call it the Babe Ruth parking lot. The park sign's going to be gone. The flagpole is going to be gone or relocated. And then the parking lot's gone, and a whole new parking lot's going to be added into that area and tied in to kind of help with the school traffic too. So, but there's going to be a lot of work starting this next spring in that area, and a lot of landscaping.
Is it coming out of park budget or is it coming out of?
I don't know where it's coming.
Okay. Okay.
How long is that supposed to take?
I can't honestly answer that. I'm not sure. I just know that spring is when
starting
really is
next
going to start. You'll see a lot of work, ahead of time work. We've taken some trees out, some landscaping out of Old Town Park has already been removed. All the stone brick on that lined up the park there, getting ready for this project come next spring. So those are some things that were called out for the city staff to do, and it's better to take advantage of the time now than have to hurry up and get it done in the spring while we're trying to open up parks. So
Will there be a stoplight at some point on, I'm trying to envision this, Dubuque and what, Cherry? Is that,
yeah,
There's-
no, there's not proposed to.
okay,
No.
roundabout or
No, it's just.
the good old stop
Yeah.
sign the other
Mhm.
way? Okay,
But that whole intersection is changing.
it's changing,
Yeah.
okay. I'm thinking about when I go to get ice cream.
Well, right along with that, they call them parklets.
Mhm.
That's included in that area so people can go get their ice cream and have like basically a patio setting
Sure,
basically
yeah.
yeah.
That'll be nice.
Nice project.
Yeah.
Major one.
Yeah, major. We've met with the Snowdrifter Snowmobile Club. We've changed the route around a bit to make it a little more safe. Kind of came up with an agreement to keep them a route still active in the town. I know the council, they were thinking about maybe not having snowmobiles, but we finally came up with an agreement. Have a snowmobile route. On October 2nd, the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, this is with the third or fourth year maybe, they stocked Liberty Center Pond with 2,000 rainbow trout. They're in there now, and you'll see Cherry Street lined up with fishermen right now. It's pretty cool that they come here and do that project here with us.
Those fish are huge. I saw your pictures in your report.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking, but they're like full size trout.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're ready to
Yeah.
be fished and stuff. So, we want them fished out because once next spring comes around and the water temperatures get set in the 70s,
Yeah, I think so.
they die.
And
They're
die.
kind of a cool water fish.
Okay.
So it's good that they get fished out.
Sure.
Let's see. We hosted I'm sorry, on October, I read the wrong one here. That was on October 27th that we did the rainbow trout. So on October 2nd, we hosted a pre-tree care workshop at Centennial Park. That's part of the durational grant that we received from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. It was a $5,000 grant. But we had a few residents out there and city staff. We planted some trees. The DNR was there, and they kind of went over a few things. After the workshop, city staff spread out to Centennial Park, Broadmoor Pond, Penn Meadows Park, Beaver Creek Park, Fox Run Pond, and the Mead Barn, and we planted trees. So we had some activity from the residents that helped us out with some of that.
You know, how many trees, about how many trees?
32
was?
trees.
32
We didn't plant them all on that day. We planted some prior. I knew we wouldn't be able to get through that many on that day, so. But it was a great workshop. I think people learned a few things. We talked about the emerald ash borer, which is very prevalent now in town. If you have an ash tree, you might as well, I mean, if you're not treating it, it's gonna be lost here in the next few years, so. City staff attended the Aquatic Forest and Roadside Pest Management Recertification Applicators class on October 20th. This is required annually so we can maintain our certification and with our herbicide license. And I worked on budget, or Tim and I both worked on the budget quite a bit this month. I think we're very close. Had to change some things around the CIP, but every year you have to change things around because priorities change and things just change around. But I think we're really close. It's going to be submitted here really soon to Ryan, city staff, city admin, and it will get reviewed. And of course, we'll have to answer questions. We are going to try to maybe put another staff. We've requested another staff person, full-time staff. So. Asked for it last year, didn't receive it, so I'm hoping this year, knocking wood, that we can get them on board.
How many do you currently have?
We
Full-time?
have six
of us
full-time.
full-time.
Yeah.
You have any of the people left over from the summer? No.
No. Season during the summer season, we have 12 seasonal people, so they're all gone back to school or wherever they go. So
Well,
other than that,
They go.
yeah, wherever they go.
well, looking forward to projection on ice skating rink this year.
Oh yeah, I guess I could update that. We decided, tennis court, I think I reported on it last meeting, but the tennis court is complete. Unfortunately, the nets that go on the court are still on back order. I keep hearing that we're gonna receive them next week and then it's next week again, and no idea when we're gonna get them. So, but anyway,
Pickleball has been a plus. Heard
yeah.
positive about pickleball.
Pickleball has been very active out there. They have their own nets that they set up, but I think it's been going quite well. I think they enjoy the setup now, the permanent courts.
Ice skating.
Ice skating rink, you sidetracked me.
Sidetrack. I'm good at that.
Ice skating rink, we were gonna put on the tennis courts like we have in the past, but the person who painted our surface said that he'd like to see a little more cure time on the paint since it's so late in the season before we put plastic on it and then there's moisture underneath of it all winter long. So we decided to put it over on Field 4 at Penn Meadows Park. We'll probably wait closer to the end of November before we do that because once we put the plastic liner in the framework, we have to fill it. And if it's not close to freezing, it fills with leaves and you'll have all kinds of debris in the water. So kind of got to play that one out, how the weather is going.
So
So
Field 4, you mean one of the
baseball
baseball
field.
fields?
Yeah.
There's the flat, it's just the
Yeah, it's one of
liner
our-
goes out there and you put the water in and it goes.
Yeah, it's one of our flattest fields, so it does have a little slope, but
Is that an area that's just open all the time once it's set up, or do people need to like check it out if they want to play hockey or how? I guess I don't know how big is it the full field size? Like bases
it's
or-
110 by 110, I think.
110 by
Okay,
110.
that's good
110,
size.
so it's pretty good size.
Good size.
We like having it in a fenced-in area. That's why we like the tennis court, and we chose the ball field for the same reason. If we have to, we can chain the fences and lock them
okay.
up to say the ice is not frozen or there's some safety issues or
Okay.
what have you. So
Will the skates be out of the rec center?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, skates will be available for public to check out from the rec center.
Good. Well, people that like ice skating want it to be cold enough to have ice for a while. And
yeah,
some people are hoping we have a mild winter, so see how it
Yeah.
plays out, so.
yeah. We'll see how it may freeze better. I've heard that since it's going to be on actual ground, it
Oh,
may
yeah.
stay frozen better
Frozen.
than if it's on asphalt. So we'll see how it works out this year.
Any questions for Guy? Any other questions? Busy, and, and it's, as, all the things happening, keeping up with all the landscaping and the new, I think everybody's looking forward to, 965 reopening and get the,
When is that planned?
Mid-November, maybe a little later. I think they're a little behind now. So
I know.
I did hear they had kind of some problems on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Their paving machine broke down. They had 10 concrete trucks waiting to
Oh,
unload, and they
Oh,
couldn't unload
no.
them.
Ooh.
yeah,
So got wasted.
had a little,
Oh, no.
had a little yucky weather in there, but again, it's gonna be nice and
Yeah.
looking forward to more trail
No, I think-
extension, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have some good weather coming up, so I think they'll start moving pretty fast in that.
I'm happy to bring lunch out to the workers or do anything that would help things faster because it's the one block.
No,
I can't
no.
get to my house.
Cookies,
Literally.
anyone? Yeah.
Very easy to misjudge how long it takes to get around.
Exactly.
Right.
But I know they're doing all they can and
Yeah.
it'll come along.
Yeah, just part of our ongoing process. So. Okay, then we'll move right along to Shelley. Rec report.
October is a busy month for the rec department with especially just special events during that month of October. Matt Fielder did a pumpkin carving painting event. We did, Matt Messick did the Halloween moonlight walk around Liberty Center Pond. And then we had 3, I call them Halloween walkthroughs. Basically, it was a revamp of Haunted Happenings. Instead of having the congregation and the games in the gym, all we had was downstairs in the Jardine Conference Center was kind of a walkthrough of different Halloween scenes, decorations, and then as they came to the end, they got a bag of candy. But we had 3 of those. We normally have 2, one Thursday night and one Friday night. And then this year we did add a daytime walkthrough in conjunction with the library's treat trail event. It was actually trunk or treat, but then they moved it to the trail this year. And so we incorporated the downstairs for the younger kids to walk through as well. I think all the events were well attended and appreciated. With it being revamped a little bit, not our full programming, actually the Moonlight Walk and the Halloween walkthroughs, there was no fee It was free to the community, so I think they appreciated that. Let's see. Indoor pool remains shut down, but actually had a meeting this morning, and the water exchange unit is in the United States. Hopefully will be shipped to Iowa next week. And then right now we're anticipating hopefully opening December 6th back up. But again, we'll see how the next couple of
Lot of
weeks
things.
go.
A lot of things have to
and
fall in place.
hopefully nothing else derails that timeline. So unfortunately, we will have to cancel the next session of swim lessons that was supposed to start November 15th. And we'll get that information out tomorrow, along with the anticipated date of December 6th. So just again, waiting on the water exchange unit, which was delayed en route. And then as soon as it gets here, we'll get it hooked up and hopefully ready to roll. So we continue with trying to complete other building maintenance projects due to the snow slide event. We have the library gutter, fascia, and downspouts. That actually is delayed because of product. And so right now it's scheduled for the week of December 13th for that work to be done. The roof gas lines, they say they're going to start on Monday, demolition of the old lines and putting in the new. There are some delays in the actual roof anchors, to my knowledge, but they're going to actually get the work done. And then if those anchors are still backlogged, they'll do a temporary anchor and then come back when those are in with regular anchor, the approved anchors, I guess you would say. So hopefully we'll have that started next week and get that done so we can have hot water to the pool showers when the pool reopens. The other thing is the snow rails. That is to help the snow slide and not have the damage that we had last year. And those, I have not heard from that company a timeline yet. But that work, they said, can be done during the cold and during the winter months. So hopefully I hear from them here shortly on what's the timeline for materials and when that project will get started as well. So just a lot of building, non-fun maintenance stuff. Let's see. Most of the staff got flu shots from the city on October 18th, and then we were busy planning for our January through April activity guide and programming that we offer, and just kind of preparing to restart over, I guess, in the new year. Database-wise, you can see in the numbers we have about 14,707 individuals in our database, and that's an increase of close to 200 from last month. We don't really have any aqua programs to report on or swim lessons since those are canceled. Most of the leagues are ongoing. I don't know, Brian, do you have anything you want to report on as far as leagues, or just that they're ongoing?
Nope, they're all ongoing. They're going pretty good. Our next session of stuff for basketball and stuff, the numbers seem to be more than normal years, so that's interesting. I don't know if everybody's just starting to come out plus extra people, because some of my leagues will be pretty big next session. So that was interesting when we looked at that. And I know like Pee Wee programs, we have a lot of people on the wait list for Pee Wee programs, more than we've ever had before. So it's kind of strange. We offer it for like 10 to 12 kids, and we have like 30 on each of the wait lists, and that's very unusual. So I don't know. People and everybody must be wanting to get out of their houses and come and do some recreation programs. So yeah, everything's going good. Senior
Connections lunches continues in person, held every Friday. Numbers started off around 2024. I would say that's down now to about 15 to 17 average, if you average it all out. But then I know again, tomorrow we have upwards of 22-ish. So numbers vary between there, but we'll continue to offer that.
Shelley, with that program, is that just advertised to seniors and they can just come, or do we connect with like Keystone or any of the senior living places to encourage?
We have our, during the pandemic, we did a lot of connection to the Keystone and stuff, just trying to do the social piece, and just virtual lunches is what we kind of did during the pandemic when we weren't meeting in person. And so I think from those contacts, it increased from then the normal ones that we had from previous years in person at the rec center. So I know we do have a contact with, I know Keystone, I believe. Actually myself and Amy with the library, and then Angela up at City Hall, all three of us kind of played a part in revamping the senior dining offering. Right now it's kind of gone back to just Amy and I doing it. So I think between the three connections, we branched out a little bit more, and it seems to be getting the word out.
Yeah, it's a nice program. Nice opportunity.
Let's see. We talked about pools already. One thing under pools, Ashley and I interviewed for a permanent part-time position that we created called Aquatics Coordinator. Basically, like I mentioned, a permanent part-time 29-hour per week position. We had interviews, and one of our current pool managers, Ben, did accept the position, and he'll start, I think, next week. Do you remember what, Ash? I think Ashley said next week. I think he starts. Again, just having another staff person to help Ashley run both pools, especially during the summer months. And then also Ashley is expecting, so I think in the spring. So it'll be great to have an extra person to help with the pools in her absence. So that was some difference things that we're working in the pool area. I just included monthly revenues. So I guess any specific questions you have for me, I'm open for those.
How's staffing in general going? I know the ad's always in there for the pool instructor or something.
Yeah.
online.
Ashley, I think, was pretty set going forward if we did happen to have swim lessons. Now that we're not still open for that, she is a little concerned that will we lose any of our swim lesson individuals since they're not getting any hours, but hopefully they'll be with us and they'll come back in January when we restart lessons.
Say, how about Brian with like officials and things like that for ball games and all
Yeah, that was a
that?
big conversation.
Well, we had 6 officials tonight for our games because of 3 gyms, and I think one of the gyms ended up with 2 in it. The other ones had 1 each, and then the other one showed up because they're doing junior high games somewhere, and then they rush over to our facility. So it's interesting. So it's I don't know. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, because once their season actually starts, because we're not even into their season yet for basketball, that it could be interesting next session. So I really don't know how to get any more people. I mean, there's like 100 in the Iowa City Association, and there's probably more in the Cedar Rapids, and that's where I kind of draw from, is those. And
Who offers the training, the classes for officials around here?
I mean, they can contact the Iowa City Referee Association and get all that information on what to do and how to do it. But a lot of young new people are not doing it. It's all the same ones it's been for a lot of years, and I've lost a few because they just want to be subs. They've been doing it for so long, and so that kind of hurt. And I'm not getting a lot of new people to say, hey, I want to go and do that, and maybe get yelled at by a parent or somebody. So.
Trials and tribulations.
Yeah, you got to have thick skin when you're a referee. So
As far as before and after school program, Matt Fielder, I think is pretty comfortable. Again, having that program as an emergency program through the pandemic and keeping that going, I think helped maintain our staffing in that area. Matt Messick with our building front desk staff, he's interviewing and trying to get more bodies back to fill those positions, and those positions also then work the off-sites at the gymnasiums and stuff. And so we're a little short-handed in that area. So we're doing a lot of stuff just housed at the rec center. And when we do have staff or kin, then we're going off-site and using those gyms. So he's still beating the path and trying to get some of those part-time positions filled.
And sometimes the front desk staff will look like there's a lot of people up there, but probably half of them are in training. So sometimes you might go there and there's 5 people at the front desk. You're like, why do we need 5 people? Well, we don't really need 5, but 2 or 3 of them might be training. So it's that's what, looking at it visually, you probably think, wow, what do you have all these people here for? But that's why. So.
Also a shift change too.
Yeah.
They come and clock in and then head off sites. So you might have a congregation there for about 15 minutes that it looks like, what is going on? And they have their jobs to do, but they're either in training or heading to off-site
And
locations.
some just show up and just like to be there. So not working. So
We've been able to stay, well, it's such a challenge for anyone to stay competitive with wages, with the targets and the places paying $15 an hour plus. Have we recognized that as an issue, or is it just literally the bodies, the people that are interested in part-time work?
We've been fairly okay to either stay up with the Joneses or
Okay.
keep a little ahead.
really it's the Iowa cities. Yes.
Right, yeah.
I know they're constantly looking, and then now with all the other regular jobs going up,
Mm-hmm.
that does impact. And we keep bringing that up when we go through salaries and wages for the following year. So right now, we're still pretty competitive,
Good.
and just we have to definitely keep
That's
that at the
We are,
forefront.
we are not so much so on the park side, because I know Iowa City and neighboring cities have gone up to $15 an hour for starting seasonal help.
What do we start at?
$13.79, I think.
And I think we're at 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Iowa City starts everything like their people that work at the rec center and everything. They all start at $15 an
Yeah.
hour now.
That started
kind of moved up to
July
that,
1st.
City.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that being looked at?
Yeah, I brought it up last year because I've heard through the grapevine that it was coming, and I'm going to bring it up again this year. We're
Yeah.
going to have to be more competitive, I'm sure. So,
Everyone is.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the help wanted?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Everywhere.
Supply and demand right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and both, you alluded to budget going on. Will you be bringing some information, when will you be bringing information to this group about what you're proposing in the budget?
Right now, it's just put it in front of city admin, and they go through and decide what's not going to happen or what will happen. But a lot of this doesn't get decided until
Yeah.
finalized until March.
We swing for the fences and then
Mhm.
gradually have to
We have
bring
a,
it down. I
do
know
it.
as far as rec capital projects, the big thing is the roof replacement is the biggest thing that I don't have a dollar figure yet from Shive, but
Mhm.
that's probably going to be maybe moving again, depending on what City Hall comes up with in the whole master of all these stuff that has to be done. How's that? It might move everything else down a year is what I'm thinking when it comes to rec. But hopefully I'm wrong and we can find some magic and get everything done.
Kind of going from memory or discussion, but some of the major, like a splash pad out at Centennial.
I was gonna say that's one of the big ones that we're trying to keep on the forefront. Centennial Park, the amphitheater / performance area with a splash pad, 5,000 square foot plus splash pad. But along with that, we have some smaller items like a special needs accessible playground that we're wanting to add on out there. Of course, the shelters, some numerous trail projects. We have 10, right now we have 10 areas, like priorities 1 through 10 of new trail connections, but it seems like as development happens, more and more need for trail connections happens. So that priority list keeps getting bigger and bigger. But there's a whole variety of stuff. I mean, it takes up a couple pages of stuff to get the 5 year, out 5 years. But
Is it, can I
Equipment.
ask a question? I know this isn't appropriate, but is there one that's from like the Arlington Ridge area all the way up to Liberty? Like past the dog park and up, so that
Yeah.
people aren't walking on that road?
right, okay, so that's probably going to happen next year. We have a lot of federal money that's going to help pay for that.
Oh, okay.
But yes, that is like the number one priority. It's going to happen here soon. There's grant funding that's already been promised. And along with that, the frontage of Penn Meadows Park is a 4-foot sidewalk. Well, we were going to do that earlier, but we decided to put that off to put that in with this project. So,
Oh.
they'll be connecting.
Because it's a danger. I mean,
know.
there's one guy that walks out there. I don't know who it
Mm-hmm.
is, but I just,
And this is where again? Sorry,
it's.
North Liberty Road.
It's North Liberty Road, but it's the, as you go around that curve and he walks on the shoulder and, I mean, I'm sure, but
Past the dog
I've seen
park.
him almost get clipped a couple of times.
Yeah, I'd be going on basically the
Yeah.
north side or west side by the dog park. It's on the west
Okay.
side of the road.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
connect all the way over.
I think it's a good point to me, we're future, there's so many things with our community that we're keeping in mind, the quality of life issues for recreation and, so many things on the forefront. And of course, we know budgets are limited,
Yeah.
but having those priorities and the things I think people have seen. I mean, or, the parks last year, like Beaver Creek and some of those, some people didn't even know they existed. Now it's one of their favorite things to go over there to the zip line, that keep it. That's a big reason, I think, myself, other people, why you moved to North Liberty, the quality of life and not forgetting the seniors along with the.
I guess it's something that I could send out if I get a little more concrete information that I know things are going to kind of fall in line. I could send out the 5-year CIP just for you to review it.
That would be something maybe of interest to look at sometime at meeting or something, It's always you bring, we're always talking about those things, and like each time I know it feels like we ask you some of the same questions, but I know there are different people watching or learning about Dubuque Street, about the underpass
Right.
down in Renshaw Way and things like that. It's just the more we kind of keep out there to the public and ourselves, I think it really, because
And can you clarify what the CIP is? You said a 5-year CIP. What does that stand for?
Capital improvement projects.
Okay.
because we know how difficult it's been during COVID, but there's been a lot of innovations, and I'm guessing that some of those innovations are going to be put into place brought up some ideas for
Right.
programs and how to operate and things like that, and just to know that people appreciate that, I think, and I think people are moving outside, that's happened through COVID, and I think it's going to continue, and also like the pickleball, I think they're glad now. They're going to ask me, are you going to keep the snow off there? Because if there's not going to be an ice rink, they're going to want to play pickleball out there all winter.
How about we leave a shovel for you?
I don't know, but if you saw today's show this morning, they all played
I
pickleball.
did hear that. I
Yeah.
heard that.
And if that isn't going to,
We'll talk about that. I mean, if we have to, we'll consider something for you. So
well, I haven't played pickleball personally myself, but a lot of
yeah.
a lot of friends do, and I guess I'll have to give it a try. So.
We still have a good turnout inside as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's and it isn't restricted age-wise. It's
No.
becoming a phenomenon for all ages. I think are finding
Cool.
that. So, But I do think moving outside and appreciating the parks, and I think the focus on Centennial Park, I think people realize that's our big park, you know. We've got a lot of neighborhood parks that are great, and on, but as far as community-wide gathering, wise Centennial Park is really taking shape. So. Anything else? Anybody have any other questions for Shelley, Brian? We've already worked Guy over, so you haven't enough questions there. So, we have any new business to come before us? We haven't had any audience members in quite a while. But
Well, I'll
out
say,
there, at
I
any
can
time, yeah, feel free to give any of us a question at any time. If you're watching, we'd be glad to discuss topics that are of interest. And any old business, I think we've hashed.
Oh, I was just going to say some news. So my company, JMI Laboratories, which is located in the Beaver Creek Center, was just acquired by a British firm called Element. And they are committed to keeping JMI Laboratories in North Liberty, which was a huge relief to those of us who live and work here. So that's pending federal approval, but should go through. So that's really an exciting acquisition to add to their life sciences portfolio, but also it's really nice to know that this big multinational firm knows that North Liberty is a valuable place, and these employees are irreplaceable. So I'm thankful. Our CEO just announced that yesterday.
The good news and
Yeah.
attractive place.
We have about 80 employees or so. So I mean that's significant. Not everyone lives in North Liberty, of course, but all in the corridor. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the growth continues.
Yeah.
I only had one other thing. We've got new weight equipment coming. Normally I go through and I get new equipment. This year we needed 4 cardio equipment and we were going to get 4 new weight machines to replace 4 weight machines. I came upon, or one of the salespeople came upon some used equipment that they got from a club in Wisconsin. It's the same stuff that we already have upstairs, the Matrix stuff. So they brought it to Wilton. I went to Wilton and looked at it, and the stuff is just like it's never been used, and it's just as old as our stuff. So we decided to purchase that because the new 4 pieces I was getting for weight equipment was about $15,000, and they sold us 20 pieces of equipment for $20,000. So, so we'll get those, and then we will get 4 new cardio machines, 3 ellipticals and 1 treadmill to replace 4 of the machines. And then we're also getting some new dumbbells and a rack to replace our oldest set of that stuff. So that'll all be starting. He's going to bring the weight equipment next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, we'll be doing a little swapping out what's up there with the new stuff. So I couldn't believe how good the equipment was, because I know our equipment has been there since 2007. The equipment we're getting is a 2007 model. I mean, it's just crazy how
Wow.
nice it is.
Nice
I
and
was kind of shocked when I went and saw it, because it was just crazy, because ours, it's rusted and this and that, and theirs is not. So I don't know if people just didn't use it or what the deal was, but so we got a pretty good deal on that, and got 16 more pieces than we were going for. So we're trading everything out and putting all, I call it, almost new stuff in. So
That's some good shopping,
yeah,
Brian.
yeah. And there's some new pieces that we don't have. So there's a couple of them that we don't currently have. We just have to figure out how to fit, because we have 15 pieces up there now, and we have 20 pieces to decide how we're gonna finagle it up there. So we'll see how that all works out. But that we're gonna do that next Wednesday. We're gonna take care of that, and then the cardio stuff will come in sooner than later, and so will the dumbbells and racks. So
Yeah. Thanks. That's
Yep.
good to know. Worth the trip to Wilton to check
there
it
you
out.
go.
huh?
Yes. Yep. Wilton, Iowa.
Good to hear when we get a good deal. huh?
Yes.
Anything else? Well, our next meeting is scheduled for December 2nd. And we have a note here that Shelley's going to be gone. Okay.
And actually, Brian will be absent as
I'll
well.
be absent as well. Yes.
Oh,
So you might have to read the report, and hopefully we'll pass any information on to Guy. If
Guy will have all the
Guy will have all
Next
always
month,
love it.
yeah. Okay. Well, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
A motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
You got a motion and a second? Any discussion? Any objection to adjourning? Meeting adjourned.
That's why I.
3:12.
Yeah, 3.
I know, it's
12.
awesome.
I know.
Hey, we did go a little longer.